sopoku are no my one more. Oba hini bebrebe. O say tutu no my one more. Ghana my muntie. Asante my muntie. Nkoransa my muntie. Muntie mwaba kosemyo. Na mwanyra. Wa mwaba kosemyo. Ghana man. Ene mwakwa ya obuadu ene ne mo ehie. This your servant ya obuadu. Today we are coming to talk about the history of Nkoransa state and the Nkoransas too. Anybody who wish that I talk about his, where he comes from, can alert me and I will work on it for you. Any chief who also wish I do it can alert me and I will do it. I will do justice to it. So today we are coming to talk about the Nkoransa state. Where did they start from? Where are they from historically? Nkoransa, Amakum, and the rest, Aguna, all of them, they are one. And today, I'm going to base on this book, Outline of Ashanti History, Part 2, Volume 2. This book was written by Opani Osei-Kwadwo, the first curator of Manhyia Palace Museum, who also happens to be my biological father. I am his last male child. And I said, "Ye can you know? Ye baby see Biafra Nkoransa state ho. Na Nkoransa state na enwoma ye di bedi dwuma na Asanteman abakosem de etosu mienu na volume 2 anase ni nchichemu nso mienu. Se de di kan no ekafa Asanteman abosie na ne titiri regina Santehene asikadwa no eso. De etosu mienu part 1 no part 2 no ne volume 1 no dodo na kafa enkuro no ana aman na efiti Asanteman ase no dodo no a eho na enso nya ni nyina enetimi eka efa ho enti di aka no so ewo volume 2 yi mo eno nti today we are coming to deal with Nkoransa states. This is a very long history, so we will break it down into sessions. We will do some today, the next in the other session, and it will follow like that. Nkoransa state lies in the center of, in fact, old Bono Ahafo region, but now it's in the Bono East region. And it lies in the center of Bono East region of Ghana. It shares boundaries with neighboring states of Techiman state, which is the first state to be established, the first Akan state to be established or to come to this area. That's why we call that state Bono. And then it also shares border with Wenchi, which is also in Bono region. It shares border with Mampong in Asante region and Ofenso in Asante region. It also shares border with Atebu and Abasi, all in Bono East region. Again, it also shares border with Gonja to the north, and then more traditional area too. The Nkoransa stool is known and called Baffoe Pim stool. It belongs to Asante clan. I told you that it's not everybody in Bono region or Bono East region who is a Biana. The royal family of Nkoransa migrated from Kumasi Amakum and settled at Nkoransa during the reign of Okatechie Opokuare, the second Santehene, Okatechie Opokuare the first. The ancestral home of the people was Adansi Dompoase. All the Asante people, they migrated from Adansi Dompoase. From where they migrated to Amakum. According to oral tradition, there were disputes among the royal house of Amakum before the reign of Nana Osei the First, and this led to some of the relatives leaving Amakum to settle at other places. Those who left before the reign of Nana Osei the First were the Antwa people and the royals of Aguna State. I'm talking about Aguna Ashanti, Aguna Asante, the hometown of Okomfuanochi, where Okomfuanochi was the chief. So, the year can say, Asanefuono wonchi efri Adansi Dompoase. Na ofri Adansi Dompoase no, ena obetna of tubetna Amakum, edi hobeye wonti. Enti nkonwasem anase efie manso kakra efa nkonwa ho manso kakra bai. Enti emebinum tu free ho. Eba betna Antwa ena Aguna Asante. There were still some disputes in the royal family during the reign of Nana Opokuare the First. This time, Nana Efia Sapoma, who was the sister of Nana Akosai Yadom of Amakum, that's Amakum Hine, and her children with other relatives left Amakum to find a new place to settle. They were led by Nana Dudonyina. They first reached Kodie, where they settled for some time. They continued their search for a better place to settle. They therefore settled at Swedru near Abu Abuja. Nana Dudonyina passed away at Swedru. Enti Emra Nana Fia Sopama ene ne ma ene amakomfo ni bi free amakom no wodi kan eba betna kodie ene wo free ho eto aso eba betna Swedru a ben Abu Abuja na eho ena de ne odi won anim Nana Dudonyina oto anananom. Nana Dudonyina was succeeded by his nephew Nana Baffoe Pim, who was also the son of Nana Seitutu. Nana Baffoe Pim was not happy at the settlement and decided to move on in search of a better place to settle. You know, Nana Baffoe Pim was the son of Asante. So he was the son of Nana Seitutu. He was the son of Nana Opokuare, Okatechie Opokuare. This migration took place during the reign of Okatechie Opokuare. Though some of these people decided to settle at Swedru, most of the people decided with the new chief and followed him. From Swedru, they passed through Tetrim, Chechewere, Enyinasu, and Sechedumase. And first hostile group of people they met was state called Nyamfoman. Wonam sam kuro ya mebobo didin so Tetrim wofa Tetrim Chechewere Enyinasu Sechedumase na afọ babetu oman bi ane efe ne Nyamfoman na ewo hodada. To conquer them, they sought the help of offensive state before they were able to drive them away. Offensive state therefore shared the land occupied by Nyamfoman state with the immigrants. Ti Nyamfoman na enye kuro ketwa. Na nso so sebeye na Nkoransa betimi na se sabre asenefo na wofura bokom eba no ebetimi edi wonso nti o pem wafri offense ho na offense boa wo na wokofa Nyamfoman eno nti offense dia wonya frim ne sense ase no one Nkoransa chance ase no. Places like Amuowi and Abofo were occupied by the people of Nyamfoman. Their capital was situated near Abofo. These places went to the offensive states. The remaining lands of Nyamfoman were taken over by the immigrants. Immigrants no and they were Nkoransa for no efa Nyamfoman nkuro no diaka. Nana Baffoe Pim and his people first settled at Nkoransa, while some of the people of the Nyamfoman who remained at Akumsa village accepted the immigrants as their overlords. The Nyamfoman for no one hour car no one eka Akumsa and they yefra Akumsa dumase no. Entimra waka ho no woje immigrants no eye ahoho na waba no etumu se woye wonwura no. The chief of Akumsa dumase therefore took the title Nyamfoman hene. Enti Akumsa dumase hene no efa edin Nyamfoman hene fi se na ho nyina aka Nyamfoman ho na abeye Nkoransa hene edia. Na yenwunu se sabre na edin Nkoransa na emai. Nkoransa was formerly occupied by the people of Mo. But when they learned of the defeat of the people of Nyamfoman, they did not resist but left the place for the immigrants to settle. Na Nyamfoman ye omanya anasi state ya ne holding. Enti wo emra Nkoransa na ho mofo na te ho. Wote kwan a ahoho no edi Nyamfoman fo fa so na ehwa wo se ne momfa baby ayeti momfa nka mo. Another group of people who came into the scene were the people of Droman, who migrated from Nswita. They came to meet the country group who had already occupied the place. They therefore settled on Nifahene's lands. Enti Droman kesefo na wo firi Nswita aba be settle wo ho. Enti ahoho yi ba beto wo ho. Anyone tonight, if you say Baffoe Pim ne papa opokuare ne papa o say tutu wo ya ayokofo a won wofa ene Nswita hene adakofo no enti chese wabeto ne papa no ewo Droman kese enonti. After settling at Nkoransa, Nana Baffoe Pim and his people decided to continue in search of a better place to settle. Finally, they reached a place where 3 old men and their sister, let's listen, lived. The 3 old men were Sene Diamin, Ampofo, and Dasi. And their sister was called Diodua Amonu. Upon inquiry, the immigrants learned that these 3 old men were hunters of the chief of Bono. Now I will say the chief of Techiman. When Baffoe Pim and his people expressed their wish to settle at their place, the place where the 3 old men were, they were happy and therefore reported the plea of the immigrants to the Bono Hene, which I will say Techiman Hene, through the Benkum Hene of Techiman, or Benkum Hene of Bono Manso, who was the chief of Forikrum, called Nana Beseshia. Nana Kwachiamia, on hearing that their chief, Baffoe Pim, was the son of Asante Hene, gladly allowed them to settle on his land. Enunti said ye kano, emra ahoho no baaye no, na mpanimfo miensa ene te ho. Nkokora miensa ene won nua ba. Mabon nkokora miensa ni din, ena won nua ba no so din dada. Enti Baffoe Pim ne dom bom kokora na mane se opese nko ne wontena. Won so kokobo Nana Kwachiame ya no ye Bono Hene amane. Na ne je evise ni nua ene osetu ni nua ne opokuare. Won nyina ya yokofo. Enti na ne je se won ba Baffoe Pim ene no betena. The immigrants therefore named the settlement Nkoransa on the abode of 3 old men. There was cordial relation between the immigrants and Nana Kwachiame, and to recognize him as the owner of the land, Nana Baffoe Pim and his people always attended the yearly festival of Nana Kwachiame, and his people were where they always present gifts to Nana Kwachiame. And nam sena asase no Nana Bono Hene freze enkrofo ne hunters anana hayofo ene te ho. Enti Nana Baffoe Pim enso eni je nti de ya ne se emre bia ode ayeye de ebebre Nana Kwachiame emre a odi na fashe biara se wama no kwan amanatena na saase so. This relationship was destroyed by the son of Nana Kwachiame called Kosikore, who slapped Nana Baffoe Pim in front of his elders and the entourage who were accompanying Baffoe Pim to present gifts to the Bono Hene on one festival day or one festive day. The king, that's the Bono Hene, had waited for a long time for Baffoe Pim to come to the festival, but did not hear of his coming. At that juncture, the son of Nana Kwachiame mounted a horse and headed towards Nkoransa to find out why he had not attended the festival. We should know that that son of Nana Kwachiame was also the chief of Nchra. Just outside the outskirts of the festival grounds, the son met Baffoe Pim and his people. Instead of asking why Baffoe Pim had been late, the prince alighted from the horse and started slapping Nana Baffoe Pim. Enti the watching in our hand say, Eya ayonkofa no etwa so pa fefefe ekosi mre bia na afahye braso. Nana Kwachiame atwen ne Baffoe Pim oma en wo soma enti ne ba Nana Kwachiame oba ne yefe no Kosikore etna ponkoso ne dom ekoso mo kwa akohia akohwe de enti Baffoe Pim ma wo free afashe na sia na adwabo na sia nche na ohia Baffoe Pim wa ma Baffoe Pim an kyerɛkyerɛ ne nsɛm kwa na ofiti ase robo na ni so slap no. Nana Baffoe Pim and his people therefore returned to Nkoransa, nursing the pain of disgrace. Nana Baffoe Pim therefore planned to revenge. When Nana Wiafe heard what his son had done, he became sorry and sent apology to Baffoe Pim. In addition, he sent gold dust to appease him, but Baffoe Pim continued to nurse the pains of disgrace suffered at the hands of the king's son and planned a revenge. Enti Nana Wiafe babu bo Baffoe Pim ani so aye ne ya abakosem chese obro no pa ye kan so na hemfo nkuma e ka ne ho chese wagu nani mu ase ti eye ne ya na oye se metua ne soka. Nana Wiafe de sikafuturo ekose de kopata na enso so na sede oyaw na sia ye no na Baffoe Pim aka se obetua na soka. The punishment which followed the disgraceful act of the prince was the war between Asante nation and Bono or Bono Manso, which now is Bono Techiman, which resulted in the fall of Bono kingdom. After the war, a large portion of the conquered nation's land was given to Nkoransa states. Enunti sa oyawi ene kofa entokwa baya Asante ene Bono enyaye Nana Pokuare ene ni nua kwaachia Nana kwaachia me onyaye enunti Bono maino na sa ase no dodo no a Nana Pokuare eje ede ma ne ba Baffoe Pim ema ekwaye Nkoransa asase. Now, let's look at what Nana Baffoe Pim did. To establish his states, Nana Baffoe Pim... Now, before I come to that, nobody should understand this as a wicked act. Because in the olden days, it was war that people used to establish their kingdom. We had Great Britain. We had United Kingdom. Why? Because England waged war on the other states and conquered them and annexed them to become part of Great Britain and then part of the United Kingdom. That is what happened everywhere. So in the olden days, it was war that people used to expand. So it was an act which was going on. So there was nothing wrong with what went on, because that is how people used to expand. Now let's look at what Nana Baffoe Pim did after the war. To stabilize his state, Nana Baffoe Pim removed people of Nyaman from their former capital near Abofo and resettled them at Akumsa Dumasi, some few kilometers from the capital. You know, the Nyaman people were not part of the Amakum group that was coming. And therefore, since they had accepted to be part of the kingdom, he had to check on them. So he moved them from where they were to where they are now. Another group of people, the Juman people, whose capital was about 46 kilometers from Nkoransa, were resettled at Asanteman, which was 1 kilometer from Nkoransa. So this group too, they came to meet. So they resettled them at Asanteman. The reason for the resettlement program was that they should be at a place near Nkoransa to allow close surveillance on the people who, to him, might be a threat and might align themselves with neighboring states to come and fight in Nkoranza state. Eno nti emra wodi nyamfo manfo no ekotena ba bia wote say ya kumsa dumase no eno wodi ebinum so kokotena seseman ana sasaman sebe ya obehunu won na woni won edi nsawoso mre biara na ma wantimi antwe won ho emfri Nkoransa state no amaye won dom. Baffoe Pim again established a number of security posts at strategic points within the state so that the people could give intelligence reports on dangerous moves by suspicious characters to the central authority at the capital for prompt action. To solidify his state, Baffoe Pim appointed most of his leading elders from the Asante clan to which he belonged. The elders so appointed were Kronti Hene, Benkum Hene, and Chidom Hene. Rulers of strategic towns like Kentampo, Nwasi, and Dawa were appointed from Asante clan. The position of Asanteman was given to somebody of Oyoko clan, which was the clan of his father. Osetutu. The Nifa position was given to an Oyoko Adako clan member who was from Bono. The Ankobia Hene position was given to the son of Nkoransa Hene. Another position given to the Bono people who stayed was Achiame Hene. Eno nti se say no wachiche de nebusuafo no akode da aman no ano. Ene ne papa busuafo akode da aman no ano. Na emom bonofo a obeto won hozo so wama won bi ama won so ada ano bi. Enye se waka oman no abom. Nana Baffoe Pim wanted the people of Nkoransa state to unite as one people, so he and his people handed down some of their cultural practices and adopted others from the indigenes. Typical example were the adoption of the Bono language, which became the language of communication for immigrants as well as the indigenes, and the dropping of Akweside festival of the Asantes and adopting of Awukude of the Bono people. Enti Nana Baffoe Pim eye de say okay enam si ya kan ye ho abomu nti e kwan ba akwa e be fa so a ye state ne betimi agina ne say Bono kasa no a wona ye beto won ka no yen a ye fra makumba nyina mom ye nyina yen ka bi yensua na meye ye kasa afei Akweside a ye die no yemfa no nto ho ne yemfa Awukude aye one festival no na ye no nyina anye baako. They also adopted the god Ntwa, which was an important deity of the Bono people. The Bonos were celebrating Nchifie as annual festival. This festival was not interfered with. Rather, they instituted the Munufie, which was similar to the Nchifie. This assimilation method was adopted with the intention of effectively unifying the people of the new state to ensure oneness in the state. And nti na indigens na bonofo na obeto wo na wodi Nchifie. Enti ono nso ba we anyi Nchifie na mfiri ho. Na emom de Munufie e na be hye na nan. So ahụ na say ama waka won ho abo waye baako na entokwa ben na Nana Baffoe Pim de ne ho hye mu bi we want to know the wars that Nana Baffoe Pim took part. Nana Baffoe Pim and his people took part in the Bono War, as well as the German War. When we say Bono War, that's the Nyaman War, as well as the German War. Nana Baffoe Pim was also on the Nkoransa too during the reign of Asante Nana Kwesi Obodum. So you see, he took part on behalf of his people, Asantes, against the Bono, against the German. When we say German, I hope you understand. We are talking about the people of now current Bono region. That is Doma area, Suma, Drobo area. That is a German area. All those places. And it extended to Côte d'Ivoire. Okay. So he took part in all this, and he also was the chief or the king of Nkoransa when Nana Kwesi Obodum was the king of Asante. Nana Baffoe Pim was succeeded by his nephew Nana Wiafe Akenten in 1763. Nana Wiafe Akenten was also on the Nkoransa too during the reign of Asante Nana Osei. He played very important roles in the wars fought by Nana Osei. When we say Nana Osei, the next title we add is Nana Osei Okwawia. He used to fight during the daytime. He was very good at that. And it's the same Nana Osei who led the northern expansion. He is the one who helped one faction of the Dagomba to overcome the other faction, and therefore Dagomba became part of the Asanteman. Apart from leading his people in the wars, he provided intelligence report on the state they fought with before wars were declared. I'm talking about Nana Wiafe Akenten of Nkoransa. The wars fought by Nana Osei were, which Nana Wiafe Akenten took part. The Wasa, the war with Banda, and the Gomba war. According to oral traditions, Nana Wiafe Akenten finally revolted against the Asante nation. Banda State also revolted against the Asante nation after the conquest of Bono Techimaya. Enti diye kan se Nana Wiafe Akenten yi a obedi ne wofa Nana Baffoe Pim ade yi. Oboai Nana Kwesi Obodum reso. Na afe Nana Osei Kwadwo emreso. Eku bi Nana Osei Kwadwo ekoye bia no okobi ekokoma Asante. Eye Dagomba kon ene di Wasa kon ne de keka ho nyinara. Nanso so enu achi one Asante enya ohaw osoritia Asante bio Banda enso so soritia Asante. Asante therefore sent Adumatia, who was then the chief of Adum, to go and punish the Nkoransa and Banda people. The people of Techimaya helped the Adum people to defeat the soldiers of Nkoransa and Banda. Oral tradition states that Nana Wiafe Akenten fell in the battle. The Techiman state took the decision to help the Asante army because they found out that the opportunity will allow them to revenge what Baffoe Pim did, which caused the fall of Bono State. Enti enam se Nana Wiafe Akenten esoriti Asante no. Sante hene ma adum hene ene ne dom ekone Nana Wiafe Akenten ekon eye Nkoransa hin Nana Wiafe Akenten na santokwa no Techiman hene support ana Techiman support Asante ekutia Nkoransa as a revenge enti ene ha na yede besie yebeto aso na afa yede efri Nana Wiafe Akenten a woye Nkoransa hin otoso mienu echi no ede ene baaye medamo ase